Good morning, I'm Steve. Welcome back to Warwickshire Walks and Beyond. You joined me this morning. It's Tuesday the 12th of May 2026 and we're in the middle of the football pitches on Newbold Comyn, Leamington Spa. This is an area which I know very well and around which I take regular walks. I've been walking in this area pretty much for most of my life, probably starting from mid-teenage years when I started to get a little bit more independence from my parents. So we're just going to have a brief walk around today, head through the nature reserve and just dip our noses into Pedleys Wood, which is definitely one of my favourite haunts. I think I said on the last talking video that I did that I absolutely love trees, so woods and forests are always going to draw me in. So for the channel, this is probably about the third talking video that I've done so far. For the first year, most of my videos were non-talking. They just had text at the bottom to give viewers information and directions and ideas for other walks. I'm obviously hoping to grow the channel, and obviously I've sussed out that in order to do that there needs to be a little bit more engagement from me. So a couple of weeks ago I decided to take the brave, possibly foolhardy step of having my mug on camera and allowing you to hear my voice. So excuse me, so I'm still not quite sure how these talking videos are going to dovetail with the channel, whether they're going to work or not. So this is the third one. The previous two, the first one I really liked, the second one I wasn't too sure about, as I felt it was a little bit over long. But obviously my views on my own work is probably jaundiced by the fact that I don't particularly like how I look or how I sound on video. It possibly might take a more balanced view from you guys who watch the channel. So if you want to tell me what works, what doesn't work, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether these talking videos have any value, whether they have any interest, let me know. Do I need to keep them under a certain length? Are you happy for them to be a little bit more expansive? I will still make my normal videos without talking. That will always be a feature of the channel, as I think a lot of the time I certainly like to watch videos of people being outdoors and walking in nature, and I actually want to hear the bird song and the wind in the trees. So at the moment I'm kind of leaning towards keeping these talking videos a little bit shorter than I would normally film a normal walking video. So let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, are there things that you want to hear me talk about? Do you want to hear more about my memories and local connections with the area? Is that of interest? Just drop me a comment and I will do my best to accommodate you. So at the moment, I don't know whether you can see it, but there is a little turnstile gate just ahead of us, and that leads to the Lem Valley Nature Reserve, which is a lovely spot. Tends to look a bit sparse during winter, but obviously from spring and through the summer months it absolutely explodes with wildflowers. And if you're a lover of insect wildlife, then it's definitely a good place to come. So we're just going to head towards there now, and I will shut up for a bit. So there are various routes that you can take over Newbold Comyn. You are pretty much free to roam. You can see another turn gate just through the trees over there if you fancy more of a wooded walk. Newbold Comyn, the common element is spelt C-O-M-Y-N. My partner pointed out to me over the weekend that that's quite an unusual spelling. It's something I'd grown up with, so it hadn't really twigged on me. Obviously I assume it just means common, but as to the unusual spelling, if anyone's got any ideas, just let me know. I assume it's just a historical thing. So we're now heading into the Leam Valley Nature Reserve, and this in the summer will be the wildflower meadow. Fortunately the information board is looking a little bit grubby, but it's a great place to come and spot wildlife. We get European peacock butterflies here, we get banded demoiselles, the Leam, the River Leam, which feeds into the Avon around Charlcote, is literally through that line of trees there. So at the moment the meadow is just starting to sprout, but if I'm able to come back here kind of June, July time, the grass will be a lot higher and it will be a massive insect wildlife. So Pedleys Wood is in fact that line of trees there, and it does actually border the River Leam at one point as well. You can get back through to the main common through these various trails through the woods here. Although Newbold Comyn covers quite a wide expanse, it's pretty modest, I think, really. It's quite difficult to get lost. If you keep walking in a circle, you'll eventually obviously get back to where you started. I mean, that obviously makes sense. It's also frequented daily by joggers and dog walkers as well. I've lived in Leamington for the majority of my life, up until about 2015 in fact. I was born and bred and raised here. So a lot of these places, certainly in Leamington Spa, have very, very deep associations for me in terms of family, friends, school holidays, that type of thing. I do consider myself very lucky to have been born in a place that has such ready access to so many green spaces, and it's literally on the border of some of the most beautiful countryside in Warwickshire as well. Just about to get overtaken by some more joggers.
It's not that crazy hill. That's the difference.
I do admire their dedication. As a famous American comedian once said, when I see a jogger smiling, I'll try it. So where those joggers are turning now, they're turning towards the left. You can follow a track which does a bit of a loop around the common. One of my favourite walks is actually to head left that way, and then take a detour to the right at the end, which I don't know whether I'll be able to point out to you today. In fact, why don't I just walk there and actually show you? But the detour I take cuts across the field and takes you on to Whitebridge, which is a place that's featured in quite a few of my walking videos. It's one of my favourite places in this area. Not sure why, but it's just from a nature point of view and a contemplation point of view, it resonates very deeply with me. So you can head left here. We'll double back in a minute and head towards Pedleys Wood, but for now I'll just point out this little cut through that will take you onto Whitebridge. Good morning. There's a little squirrel just on the tree there. This is another one of the little trails that will take you back through to the Common, and obviously if you keep going in that direction you'll eventually come to Leamington Spa town centre as well. Still haven't got used or comfortable to speaking to camera when other people are around. I guess it's something that the more you do, the more hardened to it you become. I'm not quite there yet. Although it does amuse me the funny looks people give you when they realise you are filming. So the cut through across the fields that leads to Whitebridge is just here. It's easy to miss if you don't know where it is. If you follow the trail this way, this will loop you back round to Newbold Comyn. It's quite a lovely walk. It'll take you out across the fields and back round in a big loop. Probably take you about an hour at a leisurely pace. It's a nice way to spend a morning. The cut through to Whitebridge is here. Those branches are looking quite photogenic. I don't think that's deliberate. I think that is just nature doing its thing. I haven't got time to do it today. Maybe I'll do this another day. But you can walk across, if I just follow the trail through this field, through the next one, you'll come to a turnstile. Once you're through that, there's a beautiful big tree in the middle of the field. You cannot miss it. You want to kind of head diagonally right, and eventually you will see Whitebridge, which crosses the River Leam at that point. But for today, as I said, we're going to head and just dip our noses into Pedleys Wood. I'll definitely do another video talking about Whitebridge over the next week or so. So let's head back the way we came and take a nose into Pedleys Wood. There's a lot of dog walkers out this morning. So when I first started off this morning, it was glorious sunshine, but it seems to be doing its best to cloud up at the moment. As some of you will know, I'm a keen photographer, so I've taken a lot of photos in this area, and I'm wishing I brought my cameras with me today. I could have got a nice panorama shot of all those trees. So let's just take a quick dip into Pedleys Wood, because I don't want this video to be too long. I think 20-25 minutes is probably more than enough to be putting up with my voice and my voiceover. For those of you that are keen on walking, this is a lovely walk to do. Pedleys Wood can get very, very boggy in the winter months or during wet periods. One of my previous videos filmed, I think back in February, illustrates that quite well. It was very, very boggy that day. Normally I'm just out in good walking boots, but I did have to don wellies for that particular walk. So according to, let's have a look at it, geograph.org.uk, and an article written by Robin Stott, just make sure that I attribute this information to him. So Alan Pedley, he was the workaholic director of parks for Leamington Borough, and from 1974 amenities officer at Warwick District Council. He loved trees, and his plantation of natives and exotics was laid out in the late 1970s, early 1980s, and was named after him. So this is Pedleys Wood, and there are two entrances. There's just one through the gate there, or you can walk a little bit further down, which is what I tend to do, because the track slopes down and it gives the trees a very, very nice aspect as you're walking. So we're just going to have a quick dip in. River Leam is further to the woods to my right, so you can do a nice loop through the woods and follow the river back out, and then you'll probably, if you follow that route, you will come back up to this point here, and then it's about a 15-minute walk that way back to Royal Leamington Spa town centre. There's also a car park at the entrance to the common as well. The land to the left is private, but I think it is just this field, because the walk to Whitebridge is probably the next field over, I would think. But given how open this is, I'm always tempted, really, by open fields. I try to obey the rules. So this clearly says private, no public right of way. So I would not be minded to just take my leave and walk through, but the temptation is always there. I love exploring open spaces like this, and there is the romantic part of me, I think, just feels like we should have the right to wander, the right to roam. I know some countries have it. I wish we had it in this country, but of course it does rely on people being respectful of the environment. I think if everybody was respectful, no one would have a problem with it. But unfortunately, there are always idiots who either drop litter, start fires, or just cause mischief generally and don't respect the environment or nature. I'm guessing that none of those types of people watch this channel. I would hope not anyway. I'm hoping the microphone is picking up the bird song. If you're the type of person that just likes to come out and be amongst trees and listen to the wind and bird song, Let me know in the comments, because you sound like my type of person. So there's another trail through the woods that'll take you straight through to the centre. But the nice view of the trees is just further down here, which is what I'm kind of aiming for before I end this video. These woods were a great place to come to as a kid, particularly if you were out with friends and wanted to play hide and seek. It always felt like a really nice environment. There's not too many people around, but there's plenty of regular dog walkers around as well, that you kind of feel safe from the ne'er-do-wells. I always had an ambition in my 20s just to put on a backpack with a tent and some food and some clothes and just go wandering for 2 weeks. It's a bit of a romantic dream, rather than just going away somewhere to doing a city break or going to the seaside, just having a wander through some of the countryside that we have here in this country. I never actually did it, so now I content myself with doing little walks like this. Although I am only 57, so there is still time to achieve that ambition. So the amazing thing for me is that we're literally only about a 15-minute walk away from residential areas, and it feels like you could literally be right in the middle of nowhere. It's a lovely feeling to be surrounded by all this greenery. So these trees here I think are rather magnificent. They can look quite moody on a grey day, which this is fast turning into. But on a summer's day as well, they're really, they're almost luminous with the sunlight. I hope for all of those of you that are watching that you all have access to green spaces like this. I really do think it's good for the soul. It's good for people's mental health. I've nothing against cities at all. I love London, I love Birmingham, I love Bristol, but I'm not sure I could live somewhere like that if I didn't have access to big, wide open green spaces like this. I really do think my mental health would suffer. It always amazes me as well how many people don't seem to make the connection between good mental health and taking walks in the countryside like this. I think it does us all good to get away from our phones, from our computers, from technology generally, obviously with the caveat that I am filming this on an Osmo Pocket 4, but you know what I mean. Isn't that bird song amazing? There's also some church bells, but I'm not sure whether the microphone's picking them up. What could be more English than the sound of church bells, blackbirds and chiffchaffs in an English wood? So this trail will lead us now into Pedleys Wood proper, and I'm going to end the video any minute now. If you want to see more of Pedleys Wood without me talking all over it, then there's quite a few videos to choose from. If I'm smart, I will link to them in the description of this one, and you can check them out at your leisure. So Pedleys Wood, just as a last point, borders onto a wetland area, and there are a couple points along the wood like this where you can view them. It's not quite a bird hide, but it kind of functions as one really. I've never been lucky enough to see anything particularly rare when I come here, but it is a beautiful spot. So thank you very much for watching this video, for listening to me chunter on for God, nearly half an hour. That's 10 minutes longer than I intended. If you like this video, give me a like, give me a subscribe. That would be massively helpful. I am desperately trying to build up the subscriber count for my channel. I'm a long way off hitting that magic number of 1,000, I believe it is, before you can start making a bit of money out of YouTube. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. If you like the content, then please do. I will consider that a massive favour. And if all goes well, I'll see you on the next one. For now, enjoy the view.